shrine of Our Lady of el Pilar, La Virgen del Pilar. It is already linked to of the whole pilgrimage, because here we have St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila came to look for the protection and the guide of Our Lady del Pilar, as well as St. John Paul II. He came twice in 1982 and 1984. And so you see how Our Lady is really successful in protecting and guiding those who look for their protection and guidance. And so that's what we are doing here in the middle of our pilgrimage. We begin our pilgrimage with Our Lady of Fatima, with Our Lady, the Blessed Virgin Mary. We, in the middle of this pilgrimage, stop here at the National Shrine, and we will end up with Our Lady, looking always for her tender love, closeness, protection, guidance. We need it so much. And this is, so to speak, spiritual hub, I would say, for at least first for Spain, because everything started here in the year 40 AD. Spain that was pagan, the Spain that needed the truth, needed the grace for salvation. And it started all here. The roots of the Spanish civilization, European civilization, we may say, spiritually are present here. But not only to the Spanish people, also the Hispanic world. John Paul II named Our Lady of el Pilar as the patroness of all the Hispanic countries. But we may say it is also for each one of us. You've seen already the American flag. Americans are present here. But all of us, all Christendom, this is a spiritual hub for all Christendom. This is the very first apparition of Our Lady ever in history. Her first apparition when she was still alive, in her lifetime. Probably, she had to biolocate, the first biolocation we know in history. In the year 40, Mary was at the time living either in Jerusalem or in Ephesus. So through biolocation, she met James here. It is also important for us because Our Lady is not appearing to any ordinary guy. She is appearing to St. James the Apostle, one of the 12 columns of the church. So this is not only the message here present in Our Lady of el Pilar is not only for the Spanish-speaking people, it is for each one of us. And I think the story of the apparition is exactly the same story we are living in the year 2015, the beginning of the 21st century. Let me put it into context first. James is the brother of John. At the foot of the cross, John hears from Christ the words, "This is your mother." And from that day on, Mary lived in the house of John. Now, it is reasonable to think that John and James were living in the same house in Jerusalem together. They were brothers. No, they didn't have enough money to pay for 2 apartments in Jerusalem. So they were living together. They were sharing common life. And Mary was with them. So Mary had a very special closeness to both John and James. My guess is that these 2 sons of thunder, Boanerges, as Christ called them, Christ couldn't, control these guys. They were always looking for fire, and not the fire of the Holy Spirit, real fire. Consume these guys. Let us, no, but not you. We will bring it down from heaven. We will consume these guys, because they didn't let you stop here on the way to Jerusalem. They were Samaritans. Christ couldn't control these guys. Let us be at your right hand and your left hand, always looking for the first positions. But now we find James and John very meek, humble guys. Our Lady had much to do with that, I'm sure. What Christ couldn't do in 3 years, Mary could do for, living together. And so the Blessed Virgin Mary is so good. And so there is this special connection between her and James. James feels this call to go to the end, Finisterre, the end of the land of the earth. Spain was for the Romans the end of the earth. So he comes here to preach in the major city, Caesar Augusta, Zaragosa. And as you know well, in the year 40, it said that it was on January the 2nd, he was very disheartened with his mission. He got only a few converts. The Spaniards didn't want to listen about Jesus Christ. They didn't want to receive the good news. He was disappointed. He was sad. He didn't know what to do. He came to the banks of the Ebro River to pray, and then unexpectedly, by a location, he didn't know the word at the time, boom, his mother appears on the pillar. Don't worry, the Blessed Virgin Mary says to him. It's okay, These people will convert. Their faith will be as strong as this pillar. And so, don't worry, I'll take care. You can imagine how consoled St. James was at the time. Wow. And the whole inner life changed. He was discouraged, now he's enthused to keep preaching, to fulfill his mission, to keep going on. And you see the results. Little by little, Spain became Catholic, expelled the Moors, fought for their faith, because the fight against the Arabs was not only to reconquest the land, but also to keep their faith, the Catholic faith, and they supported their faith in all the Americas, in the Philippines, in parts of Asia and Africa. It all started with James preaching here, with James getting the strength he needed, the courage, the enlightenment, the strength from the Blessed Virgin Mary, from that mother he had at home. From that mother he learned to be meek and humble. And the same story is for each one of us. We are living in a time, in a new paganism. People don't want to listen to the good news. They don't want to know anything about Jesus Christ. They are very comfortable with their pagan ways, with their pagan mindset and lifestyle, with materialism, very comfortable with hedonism, just pleasure, 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 with earthly goods, as if there was no other life, with relativism, do whatever you want, everything is fine, no truth, no good, whatever you decide is true, is good, that's it. Very comfortable. And so we feel the same feelings James felt. Discouraged, disappointed, maybe some of our family members, relatives, friends want to change. We feel disappointed, discouraged, disheartened. And so what should we do? Let's go to the banks of the river of our inner life and beg and pray and ask our the Blessed Virgin Mary, come back. Come back. And she will come back. She has the power of biolocation. She can be both in heaven and here with each one of us, wherever we are, here in Zaragoza or in the US. She will be there for us. She will console us. She will strengthen us. She will tell us the same thing. Don't worry, I'll take care. You can fulfill your mission. Even if you don't see all the results of your mission, you may see some fruits, of what we do, the work we do, God does through our actions. We may see some results, and that's fine. But we will never see everything, all the picture. James perhaps saw a few hundred, a few thousand Spaniards who converted to the faith. He saw the first seeds of that evangelization. I'm sure he was encouraged by that. Then he went back to Jerusalem in the year 44, 4 years after the apparition. He was beheaded by Herod Agrippa I in Jerusalem because he was a leader. He was passionate about Christ. He was considered to be one of the leaders of the apostles. Before Herod took Peter in jail, he took James, because James was so passionate. He said, this guy is just converting everybody. Let's kill him first. And then we'll take care of Peter, who is the leader also. And then the rest. James was so passionate about this. The first one to drink the chalice of the Lord. And he didn't see everything. He didn't see the whole picture. He couldn't even imagine that this little shrine, because one of the messages of Our Lady at the apparition here was built a little shrine for me. Here, the very first shrine, Marian shrine we had in the church. And then this was destroyed. We built a basilica and a basilica until we have this great, huge basilica. And but he didn't see that later on all Spaniards will convert. All Spaniards will fight for their faith. The only country conquered by Muslims which maintained their own Catholic faith and identity. The only one. Everyone else became Muslim in the other country. The country that we know will evangelize all over the place. James could never dream about having his tomb as the third largest site for pilgrimages after Rome and Jerusalem. Or millions of people throughout the century from all over the world walking miles and miles just to see his tomb, to receive indulgence, looking for God, looking for conversion, looking for God's grace. He didn't see the whole picture. We will never see the whole picture in his life. But those seeds, that everything we do will have a mark. God will be in charge through the intercession of Our Lady to irrigate those things we do now so that they will grow, they will blossom everywhere, in more places and in more souls that we know, that we have ever been. So let us therefore do the same as St. James. This is a great story for each one of us. And it's not a story to remember, just to remember. Just, wow, how nice. Our Lady had my vacation. She flew without a plane. Love that. There was no airport to land. There were no delay. That's wonderful. Okay, that's okay. It's not just a fine, beautiful, sweet story to remember. It is a story that touches us. It's the same Blessed Virgin Mary. It's the same spirit. And so let us do the same as St. James. When we feel, and we always feel, and we will always be feeling discouraged, disappointed, disheartened, we will not see the results. People don't want to follow us, to follow our testimony, to listen to our words. The same thing that happened to St. James. Let us ask the Blessed Virgin Mary, please come back.